So, the future. Because the world is changing, and in fact, something that's often said today is that the only constant is changed, what we marketers need today is, in fact, a dynamic view of our customers. So now I'm going to look forwards into the future and say, well, is it possible to do it today? The dynamic new world that we're talking about, the integration of databases, is becoming ever easier. We know this, we've got the technical advantages because we've got Web 2.0 and cloud computing, meaning that many of the solutions for the first time are genuinely platform independent. Application processing interfaces or APIs are now the norm. We also have integration and software and emergence of integration competency centres. This is something that in a Forrester report last month has highlighted as a key trend. What this actually means is if that you've been struggling with customer database integration, for the first time you can outsource for the key skills needed to make it happen. The third trend, and one perhaps that I get most excited about because I'm a data person, is data as a service. Data as a service is now genuinely a reality with real-time data feeds integrating into CRM systems. Critically, this is the tool that's allowing us all to understand the changing customer behaviours, as well as the digital exhaust of your customers as they interact with you online and leave that trail around the business. And then lastly, there's a growing recognition at board level that customer databases is a key area for investment. In an Alterian survey done earlier this year, over 59% of businesses said that they're investing in customer databases in the next 12 months. So what does this look like? Well, sales and marketing automation is what's making it all happen and making it possible today. And I think this is quite a useful summary schematic, really, to try and understand the additional drivers that are making customer database integration a possibility. They obviously include the explosion in marketing automation tools, such as Eloqua or Aprimo and Silverpop. So they'd be the ones down in your marketing automation box. These are the ones that are helping drive more and more campaigns, allowing us to focus on lead nurturing in the marketing funnel. But there's a top tip for you here, because all of these systems tend to charge based on the number of records that actually reside in your marketing automation system. So the more records you have in there, including dirty data, the more you'll be charged. So you really want to make sure that you're able to keep it clean and lean. The way you can do that is obviously using the data as a service. Basically, using the information data being fed from the cloud, being able to refresh in real time business details, new record updates, giving you an alert to a possible duplicate, and refreshing records. All of these can trigger both marketing campaigns but also feed into systems such as Salesforce to give the salesperson alerts that a company is being bought, or that somebody has left, or that a company has merged. This data is really for the first time giving us triggers that we can use to help shorten sales cycles and increase response rates. In addition, we have new analytical tools. And these, whether they're monitoring social media or your website interaction, gain a great deal of behavioural data. But the problem we have as business-to-business marketeers is we need to couple that behavioural data with the company information, the granular, the deeper data that we need to drive qualified leads into the sales pipeline. All of these factors combine to mean that there's a new focus on using data as a service from external suppliers to help us integrate fresh, up-to-date and deeper information. So, in fact, my contention is today that actually the single customer view is now outdated, that what we should be looking for instead is creating dynamic customer views. If we have these as marketers, we're going to know all the information about your customer, telling you where they are, in real time in the buying cycle, their preferred channel, and even their likely future purchases. Your data view can also be dynamic by department, and that to me is one of the big step changes, because it actually allows each department to pull down the data they need, but it's now for the first time consistent across the organisation. So what does a business look like that puts data at the heart? I think this model from D&B summarises very well a true data-driven business. Data is at the heart. Decisions can be based on true business intelligence because all the customer data is accessible in real time to all parts of the organisation, whether that's sales, marketing, finance. All decision makers get accurate and multidimensional perspective of the customers and prospects. This is in fact a compound and a live view and enables you to make decisions with confidence on how you should approach, manage and invest in each prospect or customer based on the best possible business intelligence. So what does this actually mean? How is it going to help you grow, develop and succeed and be more competitive? Well, a few ideas. A business that can operate like this can support the marketing team by generating more, better qualified leads and enable marketing through the longer marketing funnel into the sales cycle. You can also reorganise your sales team to maximise sales territories and get the best return from limited and very expensive sales resource. You can also develop much better understanding of where to use telesales in order to, if you like, tip over that tipping point where somebody is and move them into that next all-important phase of engagement. Also, better data undoubtedly really can drive and aid better customer service as it allows a more effective progression of customer engagement and can put a customer into the appropriate area of an organisation. So, as I say, my view is that the single customer view is now outdated. It's been succeeded by the dynamic customer view, where all that information you have about a customer establishes in real time where they are in their buying cycle, their preferred channel, and their likely future purchases. So how do you make this happen? Key area is getting buy-in from the board. It actually doesn't matter what stage you're in because you still need a strong financial model, you need to make cost savings, and you need basically to produce more revenue. Investment in customer database integration is unlikely to come out of your marketing budget alone. I think a very interesting stat is that on average only 2.8% of revenues in business-to-business organisations actually spent on marketing, whereas in a business-to-consumer organisation it might be nearer 20%. So the money just doesn't exist in our departments. We have to go for a company-wide investment. In order to do that, we need to create both a rational business case, but I would argue actually slightly differently. You also need to think about creating an emotional response in the board. You want to get them to think, I want one of those. And that's best done through internal marketing. And it's a classic sort of case of, our day job is so busy driving demand for the business, we forget that actually sometimes we need to market ourselves internally. And customer database integration is one where this can make a real difference. Down to simple things that we're all very good at when we look at our external customers, but using left brain messages when presenting to your finance director or your chief technology officer and making sure that it's numbers based, perhaps a slightly more creative and emotional approach with maybe your sales team. I was talking, in fact, this morning to a very large financial institution, and they've just adopted this approach to get a buy-in to the next stage of their customer database integration. And they say they've been holding workshops around different parts of the organisation, and they've tailored each workshop to the needs and to the, if you like, emotional triggers. I'm talking numbers and ROI to the CFO, and the C2O, and they say it's been transformation. It's the first time that they've bothered, rather than just talking marketing speak, to try and put things in their language. So how do you do this? How do you actually get this buy-in? Well, again, another top tip is really pick one thing. Pick one thing that's going to make a measurable difference. That might be your biggest business problem that you have at the moment in marketing, and that, if you're an information-led business and you fall in that fragmented category, is likely to be cleaner data. Because if you take this and you do something about it using data integration, you're basically going to reduce your waste, you're going to drive down costs, be more efficient, and get a return very quickly. So that's a very easy first step. If, however, you're an insight business, which many of you today are, then you need to link to deeper, richer data sets. This will increase the effectiveness of your insight, whether it's around lead scoring and making the lead score more accurate, or whether it's around improving targeting sales resource on the best opportunities, because that's going to reduce your sales cycle. Key, you'll prove your business case because the revenue is going to be coming in more quickly. Lastly, intelligence, and this is where I think that data as a service to power even more intelligent sales and marketing campaigns based on behaviour is going to be really important. So it might be drawing in things like company hierarchy or understanding international linkages. That's actually going to give your organisation for the first time a really fantastic view of perhaps your most valuable customers. What we all have to understand though, and remember, and we all fall into this trap I think, me included, is that technology, however exciting, is just an enabler. And what we have to do is pick, for the key to success, a clear business focus. Now, in order to do that, there's a new tool that's available. It's called Data Evaluator, and this is going to be made available to you. And I'd urge all of you within your organisations to use this to try and understand the drivers within different organisational silos as to where they feel that you are as an organisation. It's a really useful tool and one that I'm going to be using. So that actually concludes the formal part of the webinar. What I'm hoping is that we're going to have lots of questions, Joel. I might just take a quick look to see if the voting pattern has changed at all as we've gone through.
Always a good idea.
Always a good idea. Oh, no, it hasn't. We've just had a slight creeping, slight shift, I think. Somebody's decided that they're information-led business. So still at 35% for information-led business, insight-led businesses, 42%. And the smallest category, which replicates the survey that D&B have already done, intelligence-led businesses.
It's a good spread, isn't it, across the different sectors there? So that's quite helpful.